Hey everyone, good morning. Welcome to the Teach Better Today morning show where the Teach Better team gets to join you live every single morning, Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern. We are wrapping up the season. This is our last interview. Our show will conclude tomorrow, Friday the 24th, but we are celebrating a very strong week with an incredible last guest that I am so excited we got to fit in. I connected with Jen just a few weeks ago and have been following her on social media, and oh my gosh, this is the perfect educator to add to your PLN before you walk into the summer months. We are so excited to get this conversation started, so stick with us. Hey everyone, good morning. Thanks for joining us on the Teach Better Today morning show. Special shout out to those of you listening on Teach Better Talk podcast. We are also streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And even though we are on our last week of the Teach Better Today morning show that we started back in August, Monday through Friday, we're headed into a summer break, but there is plenty of content to learn from. So in case you missed any episode, you have so many different places to go and listen to stuff. Jen is here with us. Jen, I'm so excited that we get to be the final interview together and introduce you into our Teach Better community.
Hi, well, thank you so much for having me. I'm also excited to be here.
Oh, it's going to be wonderful. Jen, you have done so many things thus far in your career, and I know you're planning on doing even more. Do you mind sharing a little bit about what you do, who you are, kind of all that jazz?
Sure. So I'm coming at you after one of my school days. I know it's 7 a.m., but this is after one of my school days here in Mason, Ohio. And I have loved being here for 4 years at a middle school, 7th and 8th grade, right outside of Cincinnati. And I have experience in secondary, both grades 7th and 8th grade, but also at the high school level as a teacher and also as a school administrator. And then I also teach at the local college here for graduate students who are interested, mostly teachers who are interested in becoming school administrators. So looking at like educational administration and leadership. And I just love educators. I love teaching and learning, love the students we work with. And so feel really grateful to be surrounded by a great community, both here and then also, in our larger world of social media and the internet and just connecting with educators everywhere.
I love that. One thing, Jen, I really appreciated is I think we connected just from like a cold outreach. Like you just found the Teach Better team, kind of direct message and said, I don't know who you guys are. Can we stay connected? Like, can I learn more about the work that is happening in the field? And, I know you were in the midst of growing your professional learning network. A lot of educators are nervous to do that. Do you mind speaking to that a little bit?
Sure. So I really have loved going to like conferences, and I do a lot of speaking, and I love going to other schools and conferences. And that's a really natural way for it in person to happen, the connections and the people that you meet. And I've heard of, the community that people have found on Twitter or X, and that has just not been something I've dipped my feet into. But I've heard great things from others. And then really this past year, my own journey has been writing some books that encourage teachers. And in getting the books out there, it's been uncomfortable because I don't love the marketing piece. I just want everyone to read them because I think they're helpful. But I also have thought like, I need to meet these amazing teachers that everyone talks about through social media. And so I've started putting myself out there in ways that have been uncomfortable, but they've only led me to amazing people. And Teach Better Team is one of those. Like just being able to one hashtag or one account leads to another. And I'm okay to send the random DM and say hello and introduce myself. And sometimes it leads to amazing conversations like this one. Sometimes it leads to people that I've met that I've done other podcasts with, but also just sharing ideas and what are you doing and how are you working through this certain thing? Because we're all in the world of education together. And I have found that there's such an abundance mindset as I've started reaching out to people and wanting to connect. And so I'm very encouraged by the amount of people that I've been able to meet. And you are one of those people. So thank you for being that kind of, and just creating that kind of environment for educators.
Yeah, I always want to encourage our community to take the plunge, reach out. What's the worst that can happen? Either they don't respond or you get a cool conversation out of it. Either way, it's a win-win and no harm, no foul. I love that you are able to build that network in a space that you feel comfortable. And you actually mentioned the book, which is where I wanted to transition as well. You've been putting out resources for educators, and it's been a big part all over your Instagram that I keep seeing. I love being able to follow the journey, not only of your own personal marketing, but really seeing other people talk about the book. We always joke that marketing feels like a dirty word, but really all it is you allowing people to be aware that you have these incredible resources. So tell us about the books.
Well, thank you for asking. I did work with like a coach and a mentor throughout the process, and I did say it was going to be very uncomfortable for me, and he really encouraged me to like step into that discomfort, because if I took the time to write something that I think matters and can impact others, then who am I to keep that quiet? So that's kind of the genuine approach that I've been taking. But 4 years ago, I graduated from a doctoral program in leadership from a local university here in Cincinnati, Xavier. Shout out to Xavier University. And I loved that experience. And my dissertation research was on teacher perseverance. So I wanted to speak to why teachers stay and what keeps teachers staying in the profession, rather than adding to the noise of teacher attrition, teacher burnout, which is real. And I agree that it's real, but I wanted to add hope and positivity and optimism to something that I didn't feel was there. And I just felt like people were talking about all the teachers that were leaving, which again is happening. But I kept seeing that every May I was celebrating these teachers who were retiring after 30, 35, 37-year careers. And I wanted to talk to them and give them voice. So I did that 4 years ago. I sat on it, graduated, had a great time with that experience. And then I realized not a lot of people like to read the academic studies that live on online databases. And I felt like the conversation post-COVID only got larger and louder. And I felt like I was sitting on this research and I felt like I had the answer. I felt like I had the reasons that teachers stay and how school administrators could really tap into that to create systems and environments where teachers might want to stay. And it was my little kind of addition to the world of education. And so last June, like 1 year ago, this week, basically, I kind of set a moment and said, I really want to make this a book. Like, I want to change my dissertation into narrative and storytelling, use all the research that I've already done, tell these teacher stories in a different way. And so I merged the words teacher perseverance and I made a new word called teacherverance. And that's the book, is Teacherverance. And it was really fun to be able to bring out into the world. And the fun part that was super surprising was, as I started sharing about Teacherverance and the 4 reasons teachers stay and all of that, I kept thinking about the student perspective and the kid perspective. And I ended up finding a great illustrator to bring that story to life, because I wanted to honor my own teachers and I wanted to honor future teachers, like kids who might want to be a teacher but are maybe being encouraged otherwise. And I ended up getting to come out with 2 books. And so the second one is called Why Teaching, and it's a picture book companion to the Teacherverance story. And they've been out for 8 weeks and 6 weeks. And I can't even believe the whirlwind it's been of getting those out into the world. So that's kind of where I'm at. That's been my little passion project, separate from the work that we're doing in our school with our amazing students and staff. And that's what I've been trying to get out and spread the word on, because I do believe they matter. And I believe they're bringing this hope and optimism to the profession that desperately needs it.
Friends, we are going to keep with the trend of discussing Teacherverance. We'll be right back. Hey everyone, thanks for sticking with us. We are keeping with our perseverance theme here, and we're going to talk even more about Jen's book and what she wants you to take away from this experience, even if picking up a book isn't in your plans for this week. Jen, talk to me a little bit about the 4 elements that you found teachers stay for. Will you speak to that a little bit without giving away too much of the book?
Sure. So, yes, I came up with 4 themes based on these interviews with over 40 teachers from across the greater Cincinnati area. And they were higher calling, contextual joy, community, and the only option. So, higher calling speaks to this idea of like groundedness and being rooted in the work of what we do, really having that strong purpose of this is the why behind what I do. Contextual joy is being able to find the right context that brings you the most joy, or how can we create moments and pockets of joy if we feel stuck in a certain context. The third is community, and so that can be the community of the like department that you serve in, the hallway that you're in, the team that you teach alongside, but also the larger community of the city or the district that you serve. There are many teachers who have kids that go to that school, or they went to that school, or whatever it is, of like feeling a connectedness to that community. And the fourth one is the only option. There's a duality there of either desperate or pragmatic of what else am I going to do? I feel a little like stuck because my retirement, or this is how I pay the bills, or I have a family to feed. And that's okay. I think there's a value in just calling it out of like, that's the utility that the job plays. And if you are able to just say that, then that's really helpful and freeing to be able to name it. But there's this other side of positive or inspiration of what else would I be doing? This is my only option. I love teaching and I love my students and I love the work that I get to do. Or as a school leader, I love that I get to impact change and help serve the students and staff in our school. And so that's the other side of the only option. So those were the 4 main themes that I took away from all of these pulling themes from all these interviews with these teachers.
Jen, something I really enjoy about these 4 themes is not only the inspirational component, but the realistic component as well. An educator reading this is not only going to get the butterflies and be able to feel like, yes, I did have a calling for this. Like I went into this for a reason. And I can say that even just my personal experience, there's so much I love about this field. And then so much that I don't really like. And there's elements that I wish could change. I also really like the pragmatic component of it where it's, it's a safe role for me. I've done this for 10 years. I can kind of do it with my eyes closed, or I know my team members and I would hate to change, my people that I work with because who knows what their personalities would be like, or this is how I'm able to get my summers off to spend time with my kids and the ages that they are right now. That's a real big core value of mine. And I like that this is rooted from real research that was conducted. I know you mentioned it was more or less exclusive to the Cincinnati area, but that is a major city. There's a lot of diversity there for many educators to be able to reflect on. And I think this would be a really nice read that would cause for some feel-good moments and some deep reflective moments for students or for teachers.
Right. Well, I really appreciate that. I appreciate you catching the vision right away. It really has been such a fun labor of love. And I will say that there's one whole part or section of it that reads kind of like a journal entry where I ask the interview questions that I asked the teachers who were part of the initial study. I asked those to the reader, but then I also added some follow-up questions that kind of like probe them to be thinking either by themselves or with a book study or their department or their teacher friends or anything like that, or their PLN that they're meeting on social media or through the Teach Better community. But just this idea that it really is something to, like when I was interviewing the teachers, I was thanking them. Thank you for giving me your time. But every one of them thanked me. They were just like, we never have this time to really realize why are we still doing this, or why did I get into it into the first place? And that has been really empowering to feel like giving them a voice has been really the magical piece for them. So I wanted to be able to give that voice to any teacher or any school leader who might choose to read it. So that's why I read a whole section, just like a journal entry, where they're able to have those prompts and think through it for themselves.
So special. Obviously, we have not even gotten to dive into the children's book that will accompany this book. But Jen, just in case our community has any issue finding the book, I know they're all going to follow you on social media, which we'll get to as well, but where can they pick up the book? Because I know for me, the pool that's in my neighborhood opens tomorrow, and this feels like a really good sit by the pool, thumb through the book, chapter by chapter type vibe for my summer break.
I do think it's best read by a pool for sure.
I think
Yeah.
it's blue.
Really,
The cover's blue. It like blends in with
there
the
you go.
beautiful
It's
summer
exactly
vibe.
it. That's what I was going for.
Yes.
Yeah, if you search my name, it's on Amazon and Barnes and Noble online. So both those websites, if you just search my name, both books come up. And then I have a website that also has links to them. But if you go straight to Amazon or Barnes and Noble, they're there. And then I'm happy to chat with people directly. What's been really fun is schools ordering these for their entire school, for classroom libraries, or for their entire staff. And I can do that at a much more discounted rate if that were ever something that someone wanted to talk to me about, because that's been the real fun, is getting it into the picture book, into classroom libraries, the teacher Veerance book into the hands of teachers and school leaders to be able to really impact change and motivation and positive inspiration into the space that, again, I just think needs it.
Yeah, and friends, if you are in a leadership role or moving into any sort of facilitated leadership role next year, it might be a day or two or a week or two too early for you to start thinking about this, but getting some bulk books to start the year off to inspire your teachers, whether it's a mandated read or just an optional opportunity for your staff, it's a beautiful gift. Obviously, most authors are able to give those bulk discounts, so you don't necessarily have to go buy it exclusively on Amazon. Reach out to the author themselves, and they'll be able to help you start off August in the right footing. If it's too early for you to think about that, just like write yourself a Post-it and go throw it somewhere that you'll find it in a few weeks. Jen, do you mind sharing how our community here can follow you on social media as well?
Sure. So I'm on Facebook with this name. I also have like an author and speaker page, so you can see some of the other things I juggle, so to speak. And then I have an Instagram at j.mott on Instagram.
Love it. And for those of you that are looking to spell Mott, it's M-O-T-T. If you have any issues connecting with Jen, just direct message me or anybody here on the team. We love to support Jen and the work that she's doing, and we're happy to send direct links to make your connection even easier. Jen, thank you so much for joining the show. This was such a great conversation. We could have talked for hours.
Absolutely. Thank you. And to all educators listening, I hope you enjoy your summers. Very well deserved. Thank you all for the work you do in your own communities.
So powerful. Friends, don't forget, tomorrow is our last day of our Teach Better Today morning show. We're excited to celebrate with Katie Miglin joining, and then we will be on a summer break in excitement to prepare for something special for you in August. So keep the Teach Better team close by. We have live streams happening this summer all throughout our schedule, and we'll make sure to be emailing those out. Friends, thank you for everything that you do. Jen, thank you again, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys. Hey, Teach Better community. Thank you so much for joining the Teach Better Today morning show every single weekday at 7 a.m. Eastern. We have so many resources for you outside of this live stream at teachbetter.com, including blogs, podcasts, and professional development that will bring our team to your school. Wherever you are listening from this morning, please make sure you are sharing and celebrating the incredible educators in this world. And hey, if you are listening over on a podcast to Teach Better Talk, we would love a 5-star review. The comments are always so entertaining. We'll see you tomorrow.